We've got some breaking news. The Green Bay Packers just signed quarterback Tyrod Taylor to be their new QB2. They just released Desmond Ridder. He's gone. Let's unpack all that. Okay, guys, that's kind of what I was talking about, right? What did I say? I feel like just a couple days ago I was talking about I'm not sure I'm confident in the guys they have, and I don't know if there's a solution, right? And look, they had Kyle McCord, they just brought in Kyron Drones, and they had Desmond Ridder. And to me, sitting here as somebody who's watched this team for years and just watched what Malik Willis just did last 2 years, right? I'm sitting here thinking I don't think it's enough for them to have a shot to even compete without something more coming. You know, if Jordan Love was to go down, I don't think they have enough. And I did say I feel like they might be doomed without Jordan Love. And that's not where you want to be in your backup quarterback spot. They did something about it very quickly. It's almost as if they heard what I was saying. Malik Willis, not here, right? But they got somebody who has a similar pedigree now, right? Malik has become a very respected quarterback, a professional quarterback. I think Tyrod Taylor is definitely that. He's a professional quarterback who's done it at a high level. He's done it as a backup. He's done all these things, right? He took the Bills on a playoff run in around the 2015, 2016, 2017 range when he was having a lot of success. I think he's a professional quarterback, and that's what they needed because they have guys who were not professional quarterbacks, in my opinion. Tyrod Taylor, he's 37 right now. But when you have Jordan Love, who's young and spry, and obviously still, you know, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be our guy. It's good to have a veteran presence, somebody who has been to the playoffs, who has done some impressive things. He's mobile. He does a lot of good things, guys. I mean, you know, he's definitely not inaccurate like some of the guys that I feel like were in the mix to be the QB2 previously. I feel he's an accurate quarterback for the most part. He's not going to be lights out, and again, he's 37, so who knows if his arm is as good as it was in 2016. But, you know, the reality is he's a professional quarterback, and he's pretty accurate. And again, I've watched a lot of him over the years, and, you know, not just highlights. You're talking about just watching him play in general, and you know, he's got a different arm than most of the backups that you see across the league, and there's a reason he's still playing at 37, because he can, and I think he's going to be a great addition to what we're doing. And it just gives you a little bit more security, guys, right? Like, I want somebody who I feel like can come in and operate an offense at a high level. And he also provides that change of pace, right? Because Jordan's not going to be running every single down. Malik was obviously a running quarterback at times, and that provided such a stark contrast from what they usually do offensively with Jordan. And it doesn't feel like you limited when you had Malik either. Like, he was able to make some of those deeper throws, but they just brought it out in spurts as opposed to Malik. You know, he's just one of those guys who can do both. Jordan is obviously a very, very high-level passer who can throw it downfield at will, but they let Malik kind of have that element of surprise when he would run and run and run and dump it short, and then boom, he would hit you deep, and he would be, you know, he's very accurate, right? Tyrod Taylor can do some of those things where they can have, if Jordan were to go down, you can start to, in the middle of a game, bring in a guy who teams were not prepared for to be able to run the ball, do different things like they did with Malik last year, and then still be able to make some of those throws. He had some deep throws, even this past year with the Jets, that were pretty impressive, you know, to guys that are not super talented, obviously, over there with the Jets. So, you know, I mean, when you get a guy at this late stage in the game of the acquisition process where you can still get him in your building for the full off-season program and all of training camp and all of preseason, he's your QB2, guys, and they clearly didn't like what they had with Desmond Ridder and McCord and Drones. I think the room has been elevated now, and when you move on from Desmond Ridder, it doesn't put all this pressure on him to be something that we don't think he's going to be, right? McCord and Drones now, the undrafted kid, and McCord, who was a former 6th-round pick, you've got these two now competing for your QB3 spot who will be on the practice squad. So it's a lot less uncertainty, and I think you have a lot more reliability at the QB2 spot. And again, guys, this roster is really coming together, and I feel super confident in it. Jordan going down, even for a quarter, for a few plays, you have an operational previous starter, a guy who started tons of games, who's backed up a bunch too. He's a legitimate NFL quarterback, and that's really all that you feel like you need right now. They don't need, clearly they went the route of getting the veteran presence who can come in and operate an offense, as opposed to somebody like an Anthony Richardson, who they'd have to give up a pick, and obviously they'd have to try to develop him into something that he hasn't been yet, but he had a lot of raw talent. This is somebody who's pro-ready, obviously, 37 years old. He can come in and operate the offense pro-ready right away. So I'm excited to have him in the building. I'm excited to hear all the things that maybe he'll have an impact on with Jordan, having to have these two bounce ideas off each other. It's just good for the team, and I think I think this will ease fans, myself included, their minds for about, can we compete if things go awry? And I think the answer is now finally yes. God bless the Green Bay Packers, and go Pack go.